What's going on, Boo Bob? Welcome to the Ask Bree series where you ask the questions and I answer them off the top of the dome. What we're doing is every time someone asks the questions, whether it be in the comments on the videos, if it's in person, or if I get a question emailed to me, what I do is I put it in my little tin, okay? Pick it out and I do videos about them answering the question. I truly believe that although we think we're all going through our own stuff alone and that we're the only ones that have certain questions, that couldn't be further from the truth. As someone who has coached many people, the one thing that I do see is that most of the people that I've had completely different clients tend to have the same kind of questions, the same situations, the same stuff going on in their life, and they don't know each other, they're not around each other, they don't even live in the same continent. Do you see what I'm saying? And they will still have the exact same questions. Sometimes I even felt like I'm having like two of the exact same sessions back to back, right? That's how connected we are. You're not alone. Whatever question you may have, whatever situation you may be going through, there's somebody else is going through it too. Okay. And so I figured, why not have you ask questions and me answer them for everybody to be able to connect with? So what I do is every time you guys ask me the question, I go ahead and I plop it into the tin. As you can see, they're all folded so I can't see anything. I pick it out and literally answer it. Sometimes I do this on live. Sometimes I just record it depending on when I can and cannot go live. So let's jump right into this. And if you have your own personal questions that you're interested in asking, you can go ahead and put it in the comment box or check out my description box and see how you can email me your own personal questions, okay? So actually, you know what? I might change that. I think I want the emails to come through instead, because with the comments, people could just be asking questions. I'm more likely to answer it there. But if you want me to like do a video on your question, let's do email. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, email it. Okay, so let's dive into this. I'm gonna go ahead and choose. So let's see, what is today's question? What's going on? Okay, I almost picked like 15. So let's just, oh, whoa. 3 of them fell out. I picked this one, but the other 2 were already on the table. So let's do it. Let's see what's up. All right, first question. How do you navigate life with so much negative people with strong grudges towards the old you? In other words, how do you start over? Whoa, okay. Here's the thing. People that have a grudge towards an old you, there's nothing you can do about that. The only thing you can do is just take accountability for who you were, what you've done, how you showed up, and like move on, right? Because the reality is if you messed up, if you showed up a very specific way and it hurt somebody, but the person it hurt is not really interested in healing with you or in, getting to know the new you or in hearing an apology from you, the only thing you can do is, you know, ask for forgiveness on your own end. So repent, right? Talk to God. Ask for forgiveness on your own end and then forgive yourself, right? Especially if whatever happened in the past has helped you and changed you and it's something that, you were able to learn from and you're not going to do again. You can't do anything about the other person. I think a lot of times we try to force other people to love us and to see us and to care for us, especially when we change. And I think people hold on to grudges for so many reasons, right? One, we all want to be right. 2, we're hurt. We don't know how to let go of our hurt. 3, the idea that you've changed, that people change, is very difficult for a lot of us. A lot of us don't have a good relationship with change. We don't believe in change, right? And so there's this thing that when you've changed and become someone else, it's good for you. It's amazing for you. But people hold on to an old you because that's the only version of you that they know. They don't know the new version of you, and they get to decide whether or not they're going to learn the new version of you, right? And the truth is that it's done that way because people enter your life to help you through something. They help you learn something. They help you see something from a different light, from a new perspective, right? So it's one of those things where you have to place yourself in a position of understanding that whoever you were to this person or to these people in the past was exactly what they needed. Even if you're the bad guy and the villain, they needed a villain in their story. They needed a villain to learn, to grow, to heal. And same thing with you, right? If it's the other way around. If they're a villain in your story, you needed the villain, right? Everyone comes together on purpose and for reason. And so it's one of those things where all you can do is truly be good with you. Forgive yourself, right? Tap into your truth. Be authentic and take accountability for how you showed up and what you did and learn from it. That's how you start over. You start over by understanding, oh, okay, this was a certain part of my life. Don't ignore it. Don't say, no, you didn't do it, right? This was a certain part of my life that I lived, and I take full accountability. I know what happened there. They have the right to be upset with me. They have the right to believe I'm this person because that's who I showed up as in their life. And I'm going to forgive myself for it because I'm not that person anymore. I'm different now. And or I want to be different. I see how what I did have hurt people in the past. I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm using this as an opportunity to learn to forgive myself by actually changing my actions. Right? So you can't really do anything about people and how they're holding a grudge towards you, but you can really understand that if that's not you anymore, then all you can do is forgive yourself and just truly move forward, truly move on. And for, sometimes it's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel weird. It's going to feel all those things. But sometimes people hold grudges towards you to simply remind you that you should never go back towards that old version of you anymore, to remind you of the pain that the old version of you was causing in your own life and possibly in the life of others, right? So it all works in your favor, but if you're trying to get someone to accept that the new you that doesn't really care to learn who you are, this new version of you, the last thing you want to do is try to force it to happen. And the last thing you want to do is ignore how you feel about it or ignore what it is that you've done. You should take full accountability. You should accept that this is the truth. And then you should forgive yourself and actually change your actions and change how you are. If the person's open to talking about it, you should talk about it. If they're not open to talking about it, that's okay. You then get good with yourself, like truly good, not like kind of good. Truly good with yourself. Truly forgive yourself. Heal yourself. And if that person comes to you and they're telling you all the things that you've done, take accountability. Don't just throw it away. Don't be like, well, that's the old me and that's it. That's not who I am. Take full accountability for what you've done, right? Like truly take accountability. That is true. I did do that. I apologize for hurting you. Even if you agree with what you did, even if you think they deserved it, there's something in you that is asking these questions for a reason, right? They're holding a grudge towards the old you. Take accountability. That was an old version of me. I did show up this way. I did do that thing. And although this conversation is uncomfortable, at the very least, you deserve that accountability. Even if you're not sorry, you don't have to say sorry. I don't believe in apologizing when you're not sorry, but there is that need to really kind of tap into just being able to admit to yourself, to them, that this happened and not run away from it per se. Because when you can admit it, you free yourself. And honestly, you free them too. If they want to hold on, they can, but you don't have to hold on because you've taken accountability, you've learned, and you've changed. So having a new start and starting over is really just accepting what you've done, learning from it, and deciding that's not going to be how I move anymore. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not going to run away from it. I'm going to face it. And I'm going to decide to show up differently. Okay? So that is my answer for that. Okay? Let's see this next one. It says, how many spirituality be a blessing? How may? I was like, how many? Okay. How may spirituality be a blessing and a curse? Or feel like a blessing or a curse? Interesting. Did I show you guys the other one? Make sure I show you the other one so y'all can see it. I'm not making this up. Okay? Okay, and then how may spirituality be or feel like a blessing or a curse? That's a good one. I think the thing about spirituality is that right now it's like a category, right? Right now it's a trend. Right now it's something that people are waking up to and think that like being spiritual is like a religion, right? It's like, you know, being spiritual is not the same as being Catholic, okay? Being spiritual is not the same as, you know, being Protestant. That is following certain rules, in my opinion. That's following, you know, a community of rules of how people believe things are supposed to be. Spirituality has nothing to do with becoming it. It's literally who you are. You are a spiritual being. Spirituality is everything. It is the ego, it is the spirit, it is the soul, it is the trees, it is nature, it is, you know, everything. It's the mind, it's the body, it's all of it. And so I think how it's a curse is that I don't think it's a curse. I just don't think it's a curse. I think spirituality is just simply waking you up to what's always been true. It can feel like a curse because all of the things that to some degree you knew were true or you understood needed to be done is in your face now. You can't ignore it. It enhances your power. It helps you to realize that you're powerful. It helps you to remember who you truly are. And that can feel like a curse, but it only ever is a blessing, right? Spirituality is not this thing. You don't fall into spirituality. You don't become spiritual. You are spiritual. You don't have to believe that for it to be true, right? You don't have to believe in spirituality or believe in God or believe it for you to be spiritual. You're literally a spiritual being. You're literally a being with a spirit, period. Naturally a creator. Naturally, you are breathing due to your own spirit. You're infinite, right? So there really is, I think that the part of it that is a curse is that we believe that we're human. We believe that we're only human, that this is not an experience. So we treat spirituality like it's an experience. We treat spirituality like spirituality is the reason why we're experiencing what we're experiencing, especially the hard times of it, right? We love spirituality when it shows up as receiving manifestations and things just going super well. But when things get a little like uncomfortable or get a little hard, we are like, oh my gosh, spirituality is just so hard. It's not. But spirituality is the truth, right? Everything that we've ran away from as a society, as a community, right? We can't run away from it anymore. The truth is in our face. That's what spirituality does. It wakes you up to the truth. It doesn't lie to you, right? Whereas to your reality can lie to you, your mind can lie to you. Spirituality is who you are. It's the spirit. No matter what, it's always going to see the truth. That's why when you start to wake up to your spirituality, you think that because you're spiritual, you're losing everything. No, not at all. Waking up to your spirit, you naturally have to make choices and decisions that keep you in alignment with your true self. And your true self is spirit. And so as a spirit, you know exactly what's good for you and what's not. So anything in your life that isn't good for you, you're going to get rid of. And usually that's most of everything in your life when you first wake up to spirituality. Most of the people you've attracted, most of the things that you're doing, most of the life that you're living, it's going to change and shift because you've lived most of your life from an ego's perspective, a human perspective, from a conditioned space. And spirituality frees you from the conditions. And when you get freed from the conditions, you start to see things very clearly, right? You wake up to things very, 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 very clearly. And when you start to wake up, that's a whole different ballgame. Waking up can feel like a curse because you liked being asleep. You ever woken up and it's like really early and you're still tired? That's the curse part of spirituality. You're still tired. You're still a little lagged from, you know, either feeling like you didn't get enough sleep or you were having that amazing dream. You want to go back to it, right? So it can feel like a curse because it wakes you up out of the idea of what you believed life was, the idea of what you believed, you know, the kind of life you believed you were living. that can feel uncomfortable. That can feel like it's the hardest thing ever, but it truly is a blessing. It could only ever really be a blessing. And I think that, church and religion helps us to begin that process. But there are conditions within religion, right? So spirituality isn't a religion. Spirituality is everything. Spirituality is the truth of everything and everyone. There's no title. There is no wrong or right. There is no clear anything. Everything's infinite. Everything is clearer. Everything is correct. Everything is alignment. Everything is teaching. We're constantly learning. We're constantly students in spirituality. There's nobody that's right, right? That is the biggest difference between religion and spirituality, to be honest. Religion is, this is the right way to do things. Spirituality is there's no such thing as the right way to do things. That's not a real thing, because that's everything is right. Everything is right and everything is wrong. Everything is literally everything in spirituality. Everything is what you make it, because spirituality is infinite, which means there's infinite possibilities, infinite ways to go about things. It goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. So there couldn't be any one way to do it, any one way to think about it, any one way to see it. It's infinite. It goes on forever. And it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. That is spirituality. So that can feel like a curse when you're used to sleeping, when you're used to conditions, when you feel better living in the conditions, especially when you've gotten used to it, right? Waking up can be uncomfortable. It can feel sluggish. It can feel annoying. It can be like, oh, I just want to be in bed right now. Your body can hurt after sleeping, right? It's not the most comfortable thing in the world. So that's spirituality. Spirituality is always going to be a blessing, but it's who we are. It's not a thing you become. It's not something you start to believe in. Regardless of what you believe, it is your truth. You are a spirit before any and everything else. That's why we're so connected to one another. That's why we know to get up and go certain places. We're not necessarily taught how to do certain things, and yet we know how to do it. There are things that we naturally know how to do. That's all spirit, baby. Everything we're connected to, everything has a spirit. That's all spirit. The animals we connect to, the nature that we connect to, it's all spirit. It's all a blessing. But it can feel like a curse when you don't want to wake up. It can feel like a curse when you are conditioned to believe that life is supposed to go a certain way. When you live in supposed to, when you live in right and wrong, when you live in this must be it, when you live in that life, spirituality feels like a curse. It feels like something you're doing. But you can never do spirituality. You can only ever be spirituality. You are spirituality. You yourself are spirituality. So how you live, your authentic self, is you tapped in. That is spirituality. So that's my answer. Okay. All right. And lastly, let's get the last one. Ooh. This says, how can I overcome anger and sadness with my divine team? I love this. How can I overcome anger and sadness with my divine team? Yo, seriously? I want to say this as nice as possible, as chill as possible, but I'm going to just say it. And you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to do it. But this has truly worked in my life, clients' lives, families' lives. When you're mad and you're angry with your divine team, but you're trying to act like everything is perfectly fine and I trust them, ooh, that's a problem. You need to cuss them out. You need to look at your divine team, your spirit guides, as your friend. A friend you care about, a friend you want to have a really solid relationship with, that you want to see it grow. The biggest issue is that we don't work enough on our relationship with God and our divine team. We see them as these greater beings that are taking care of us, which is beautiful. You should always give respect. But we don't actually work on our partnership with them. And the one thing that we know for all spiritual beings, the one thing we know is that to allow a relationship to move forward, to allow a relationship to be really good. Communication is one of the top things that you should have within a relationship or a partnership of any sort. Comprehension is a huge thing in that as well. And so when you walk around acting like you're perfectly fine with your friend, knowing that you're mad at your friend, and the anger just keeps boiling up, every little thing they do just keeps boiling up, and then pow, you blow up at them, that's toxic. There's nothing good about that. Or vice versa. If you've ever had somebody that has been so pissed off at you and just stopped talking to you, or they're so pissed off at you and they just won't tell you what's going on. They're like, no, I'm fine. But you can obviously tell there's something wrong. They're walking with you and talking to you like they're perfectly fine, but they're pissed off. That's toxic. That's not a comfortable relationship. That's not a good relationship, because there's all these underlying emotions. And although you think that in staying quiet, that, you're just keeping the peace, there's no peace in the energy. People think that you only speak through the mouth. No, there's no peace in the energy. The energy is loud. Even when you think you're so good at hiding, the energy is loud. One way or another, the energy is loud. And so it's the same thing with your divine team, your spirit guides, your ancestors. You must cultivate a beautiful relationship with them by communicating with them your truth. You don't just pray to them and talk to them in a perfect manner, because life isn't perfect and they know that. They know that they just made you do something. They've stopped you from doing something that you wanted to do for months. They know that. Your divine team isn't afraid of your feelings. They love when you feel your feelings, because then you get to let go and release. They're pushing you to feel these things. They want you to feel these things, because you get to release what you need to release, right? But when you're holding it and you're holding on to it, you're doing yourself such a major disservice. A major disservice, Buba. It's so incredibly important for you to really not just try to overcome your sadness on your own and your anger towards them on your own, but to be so real with them. Talk to them in the most genuine way. Like, I'm telling you right now, I have written to them, cussing them out. I have also talked to them, cussing them out. Like, I am tired of going through this. I don't deserve this anymore. Like, you guys are supposed to have my back. What's going on? Straight up. And literally, I've had a fight with my divine team. I could hear them, So I had a fight with my divine team, telling them we deserve more. I deserve this. Bop, 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 bop. Why is the world this way? And it was perfect, because I got to let out what I needed to let out. They got to hear my concerns. They got to express to me why it is, give me clarity on why it is I need to go through what it is that I'm going through. And then we reconnected and we're perfectly fine. We have this thing when it comes to the divine where we try to show up as perfect as possible, show up as, our best. And to be completely honest, they're not worried about you being your best. They're trying to get you to be your best, which means that they need to see everything. They already see everything. They know how you feel. You're only lying to yourself. So don't be afraid to talk to your divine team. Don't be afraid to straight up say, hey, yo, this is what I'm feeling. And it's difficult for me. And I'm so mad and I'm so angry right now. And although I don't want to be, I need your help. How do I overcome this? What is the thing? I'm telling you, I don't know if you guys see my gratitude video, but I was experiencing everything that I could ever ask for, everything I could have ever wanted. And I was still feeling this aggravation in me. I had to talk to my divine team straight up. I didn't get on my knees and pray or anything like that. I just talked to them like they're a friend. The same way I would call up a friend and vent about my situation is the same way I talk to my divine team. And they helped me through every single time. And it wasn't through talking back that they helped me. They helped me through a book. They had my sister reading a book, and my sister read a specific excerpt to me that put everything together. And I started to realize, oh my gosh, it's gratitude. I'm missing the gratitude in all of this. I'm only looking at the negative, but I'm not actually sitting in the gratitude. It was such a profound moment. And it wouldn't have happened if I didn't actually just get so honest, because I did the stuff beforehand. I talked to them nicely. I prayed about it. I said, God, please help me. I don't know what I'm doing. I tried the whole being perfectly fine. I wrote a list of things I'm grateful for to try to lift up my vibe. And none of it was working, because the truth was I'm feeling these feelings. And it wasn't until I got those feelings out to them, I spoke to them authentically and genuinely and told them, like, I just wish y'all made it easier for me. I wish that I didn't always have to figure things out. I was really raw with them, and it helped. Literally, after that conversation, everything went smooth. Everything got clear. I could move with ease. When you're trying to overcome anger and sadness with your divine team, talk to your divine team authentically, the same way you would talk to your friend. The same way you don't want to lose your friendship, but you have to have a tough conversation, and you're willing to do that because you love your friend, because you don't care to continue to be mad at your friend. That's the type of relationship you need to cultivate with your divine team. And I don't care what anybody else is saying. I don't care what you've heard. Your divine team is your bestie. Your entire divine team, they're your besties. They are walking with you. They're with you every day. They're seeing everything. They also move in a way that you don't fully understand. You can't comprehend logically all the time. They got your back. They know that you're going to get upset because they understand that you're human. They understand how you move. So talk to them. That's your friend. That's your bestie. And if you want a good relationship with them, you got to tell them the truth. That is such a big deal. I cannot stress that enough. Talk to your divine team authentically, real, raw, as your truest self. That is so incredibly important. If you take nothing else away from this answer, that's the one thing I want you to take from it. Talk to them like you would talk to a friend. Tell them the truth like you would tell your friend the truth. Do not hide it. It's uncomfortable. It feels like a lot, but it is the biggest and best release ever, because literally, if you have a problem with them and the way they're doing things, who can change it? Them. Once you tell them, they will either start to shift things. You can work with them on shifting things. Hey guys, look, you guys are constantly telling me about certain people in ways that are embarrassing. Let's change it from embarrassing me, or me having to feel embarrassed, to you showing me a very specific color. You can work with your divine team. They'll work with you. They will work with you. But you got to be honest. You got to be authentic, and you got to be willing to see them the way that you see your friends. And I'm telling you, they will respond. They will give you what you need. And sometimes the response is, look, it just has to be this way. But at least you get it out. Okay? So that is the best way to overcome anger and sadness with your divine team. It's by just being so incredibly authentic with them, that you are angry, that you are sad. Speak that truth. Tell them exactly what you're feeling, and allow yourself to heal through it with them. Okay? So that's the answer there. Like I said, if you have your own questions that you would love to have answered, please feel free to email me. I am BriannaPierrette@gmail.com. That information will be in the description box. And does it description? Description? Said that right? Okay, cool. And if you are brand new here, first of all, in case you don't know, I'm Bri, okay? Brianna, whatever you want to call me. And so thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And if you like the fam, you like the vibes, feel free to subscribe. You can stay here. I don't mind you staying here. I don't mind you joining the family. Come on, okay? But if you're already subscribed, thank you so much, Boobop, for being here. You know I love you. And until next time, I'm sending you love.